Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the High Ticket Coaching and Consultant Strategy and Growth Show. Now, if you're watching this interview anywhere else but within our private community called High Ticket Client Attraction Inside a Circle, our private Facebook group, be sure to come check us out. We'd definitely love to have you. And also, if you are a member of the community and you'd like to be interviewed, I'm always looking for different coaches, consultants, service providers who have some unique perspective on who they help or what they do. If you're interested in being interviewed, make sure you join the community and just leave us a comment in the community, and we'll kind of reach out to you and get you featured here. So with that being said, I want to introduce you to one of the members of our community, Neve Taylor. Welcome, Neve.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm awesome. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm calling you from hot and sunny Reading in the UK. So
Yep.
it's almost like seaside weather. It's so hot. It never happens here.
Oh, goodness. So the sun is like blazing out there then.
Yeah. And we're all locked in our houses. So
Yeah, I'm over in Newburgh, Indiana, and looking out the window right now, it's definitely rain and it's pretty wet out there today. Yeah.
I wouldn't mind that right now. It's so hot.
I got you. So tell us, what do you do?
Yeah, so I help people speak brilliantly, or at least get their voices heard and get the voices out there. And I've had a bit of a sort of convoluted journey, I suppose, to becoming to this point. But it's all my skills have come together at this point and merged into doing this.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you said you help. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I started out as an actress, so I'm nearly 50. Don't tell anyone. So I've had quite a big, a long go at a career. And I started out as an actress and wanted to be an actor since I was 4 years old. And I had a fair career. I did all the theatres in the UK. I was on telly, sort of famous soaps, operas and things like that. And I had a sort of an epiphany when I was about 30. I just was standing on stage and I thought, is this what my life is worth? Just standing here being clapped, taking a bow. It just felt so futile and so pointless. I wanted a house and I wanted a cat and I wanted a boyfriend. And I thought, I just can't do this traveling actor lifestyle anymore. So I completely quit.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't really occur to me then that I would lose my sense of identity. I was actors are so integrated into what they do. You are an actor. It's not what you do, it's who you are. And when you take that away, you sort of think, who on earth am I? And it took me a good few years to find my way, doing all sorts of things, little businesses, jobs, even being out of work for a long time. And I found NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, and I found there was a lot of synergy between those thought processes and the acting thought process of repositioning and reframing your thoughts. An actor would do it to be in character, and for NLP, of course, there's many applications, but you could do it to heal thought processes, you can do it to improve your sales, you can do it to improve your communications. And I realized there was this great big symmetry going on, and then so I followed the NLP qualifications and became an NLP person, and I still didn't know what to do with my life. And one day I was getting my iPhone fixed at the Genius Bar, and my boyfriend said, "Oh, why don't you just work for Apple? You like them, you like their phones." I said, "Oh, okay, have you got any jobs here?" And it was at Regent Street in London in the big Apple store. And they said, yeah, you have to go into an interview. So I went to an interview. 15,000 people went for interview apparently, but I got the job. Just a shop girl, a sales girl, Regent Street, Apple store, selling Macs, selling phones. I did that for 9 months. And I loved it. It was because I actually am quite a sales friendly person, because I love the customer, and Apple, absolutely, the whole ethos value of the company is from the customer's perspective, thanks to Steve Jobs, everything like that. So it really fitted with me. And then this role came up in the head office for this senior executive role. I was like, what? Like, I was a lowly salesperson on 10 grand a year, and there's this role for 6 figures. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to go for it. I was a lot older than all the other people in my team because they were a lot younger salespeople, but I thought, I'm going to go for it, and I'm going to approach this as an acting task, and I'm going to act my way through the interview, and I'm going to role play my way into the job. And I did. And I got it, and I got this job over my bosses and over everyone, and no one had ever gone from the sales floor to the headquarters at Apple. And I was head of training for Europe at Apple for 5 years. And then I got poached to Google. And I didn't even want to go to Google. I didn't even like Google products, really. I was definitely an iOS, not an Android person. And I kept saying no, and they kept offering me more and more money. And it was more money than I'd ever thought I'd ever earn. And I eventually left Apple and went to Google. And it was like leaving the best boyfriend you'd ever had for some guy in a fast car who comes along and you don't know if he's going to chuck you after a few months. But I went to Google. I spent 5 years of head of training for Europe in Google. And I realized that I got these, awesome jobs without any skills. I don't have, if I'd gone cold to Google and said, here's my CV, I'm an actress, give me a job, there isn't a chance in hell that I would have got it. But my communication skills got me on this path, and I ended up in this corporate world. I'm not particularly suited to it. I managed to bluff my way through for 10 years. And then after 10 years, I quit. And I'm so glad I did. It was hard to give up the salary, but it's not an environment that I felt, it wasn't a creative enough environment, because I was still that actress pretending to be this executive. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But it made me realize the power of communication skills. If you take Google, for example, it's not about what work you do. It's about how you present your work, how you present your idea, and how you present your plan of what you would do if you had the time. And people get promoted on that basis. They get promoted on the basis of their presentation skills, their communication skills, their ability to influence people, their ability to even be liked and to corral a team around them. So all those leadership qualities, I realized, were so wrapped up with being an actor, and all those communication skills that I'd learned at drama school and trying on different characters actually came in so handy in this very dry corporate world. But I was just a fish out of water, and it made me unhappy in the end. I just couldn't carry on being in this very sort of dry environment. So I quit. I thought, well, now what do I do? And it was time to connect back with really who I am and what my skills are. And that whole journey is about communication skills. So the ability to present your body and your physical voice, breath, tongue, face, all of that stuff is the acting part. The ability to control your state is the NLP part, to choose the right words to influence people in the right way, and to listen positively and all that kind of stuff. And I realized that a lot of people in careers very different to mine, but in that corporate environment, need communication skills. And everybody's scared of it, right? Everybody has some level of anxiety when they get up to speak in front of people. And that's completely normal, completely normal. But all my sort of journey has coalesced in this, this area where I think I have enough experience to help people overcome their fears, change their state of mind, and help them really get their voice out and speak positively.
Mm-hmm. Goodness, that's a pretty interesting story there. I love it. Yeah. So you said,
You weren't expecting that.
yeah. So you said, in terms of, you said one thing you said you what is you bluffed your way into the business, or you acted into it. How did that look? Was it like you were in a character, like you were just acting the job interviews and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, it's I suppose it's because of my actor training that I had that mindset, but it's also a very sales mindset. If you put yourself in the mind of your customer, what I did is I put myself in the mind of the guy at Apple and the whole team of people who were interviewing me. What would they want to see? They're bored on a Friday afternoon. What do they want to see? What do they want me to give them? And I just based my whole plan around that. And the job was for a training manager. Initially, I was a training manager for EMEA, training 200 trainers across EMEA. So I came in and I said, well, I'd like to do training for you. I'd like to do a little 10-minute training session. Is that okay? Because I couldn't sit there and say, I've done this, I've done that, or look at my CV, because I didn't have a CV. So I had to show them that I had the tangible skills, and they'd never seen anything like it. And they just said it blew everyone else out the water, because they realized I'd connected to what the job was. And they wanted a trainer, and I showed that I could do training. I had them running around the room, doing a little training on the history of iPhone. I put myself in the mind of the business, what the business would need, what Apple customers would need, and I tried to show them that. So that's how I acted my way through it.
Hmm. That's some pretty powerful stuff. Now, um, and so you said you've been acting. You've been an actor since you were a kid, right?
Yeah, well, I never wanted to do anything else. I wasn't allowed to do it when I was a kid. But by the time I was old enough to leave home and everything, went straight to drama school and did that. But it's a very tough profession. Not for the reasons people think. I had lots of work, but that was the problem. The human relationships in the industry are sometimes quite toxic. So you'd spend, a year on the road with people in a play, and they'd be jealous that you've got that role and they've got that role, and there'd be lots of bitching, to
Mhm.
put it basically. And I just fell out of love with that. I still love the craft, but I fell out of love with that. And the older I got, the less I wanted that for my future. And I
Mhm.
feel much more positive about doing something useful with these skills. Like I could teach kids to act or teach adults to act. I have done that in the past, but I feel like giving everyone a voice and realizing the power of their own voice is really important to me. And working in a corporate environment has shown me how difficult that is, especially for women as well,
Mhm.
because probably 90% of my clients are women. And I haven't marketed to women particularly in any particular way. Whether it's because I'm a woman and they feel more comfortable, I don't know. But I know very senior level women at Google who just felt they could not get their voice heard. It's confidence, it's a state of mind, it's the perception they were getting back, and it's really difficult to navigate
Mhm.
sometimes if you don't feel comfortable getting your voice out. But whether you're talking to your colleagues or your customers, it's the same, or your husband or your boyfriend or your wife, it's the same. Communication is our superpower,
Mhm.
and it can take you to places you've never dreamed of, if you choose to invest and build up that strength.
Yeah. And who would you say is an ideal client for you?
Anyone who's interested in looking at in improving their state, improving the way they want to communicate in any way, but anyone who's interested in doing it holistically. And by that, I'm not one of those public speaking coaches who says, stand like this, adopt this Wonder Woman pose, speak up, say it louder, do it like authenticity to me is really important. So I've got a system called the BBC system, and it attacks it in three ways. Your brain, B for brain. So you could read 1,000 books on public speaking and nothing would change unless you actually change your state, because your brain is quite lazy, and when it goes into the situation that has caused you anxiety in the past, it'll follow the same little computer program that's already run before. It's not going to create a new program for you for this situation. It'll think, oh, she's getting up to speak in front of people, okay, let's make her stressed, and let's make her sweat, and let's make her breathing go fast. Because we all to this extent have this primal response, the amygdala at the base of the brain. When we get pairs of eyes looking at us, staring at us, a group of people looking at us, our biology takes us back to that primal instinct that we are something's lunch. We are going to be eaten. You've got hundreds of pairs of eyes looking at you. You're going to be eaten. You've got to go running off, or you've got to fight. And it kicks off that fight or flight response, which
Mhm.
accelerates your heartbeat, takes your breathing higher, drains all the blood away from your brain, and you lose language. That's why we go blank and we think, oh, I don't know what to say, because
Right.
you've lost your ability to, your IQ is actually dropped in that fight or flight response. So there's no point learning public speaking techniques and how to stand and how to talk and all that stuff unless you can calm that anxiety response first and create a really positive state in which to present from, which to talk from, a really calm and in control and focused state in which to deliver your message from. And then the rest of it, the physiology and the posture and the pose, a lot of it takes care of itself. But it's about being authentic above and beyond that. So
Mhm.
my B for brain is making the state of mind perfect and in control. The second B is for body. So that's all about our unconscious gestures, and a lot of people sort of rock from side to side, or fiddle with things or rock backwards or walk or put barriers in front of themselves. There's so many things we do which are sending an unconscious message out to our audience, and they're reading that. We don't stand a chance because that message is so more powerful than what we're saying. And then so that's the BB, and then the C is about the content, how to structure your message, how to use storytelling, how to use metaphor, how to be have a lot of clarity in what you do, chunk it down into trinities of 3 and things like this, and how to really deliver your message in a powerful way. So it's a 3-step program for me: BBC, brain, body, and content.
Yeah, love it. So how did you decide to get into helping others? Did individuals approach you for that solution, or was it just something you just saw a gap in the market you saw?
Oh, initially, well, I mean, I just thought, what do I do with these skills? I said, I'm too old now to learn a new skill. I can't go and sort of become a doctor or something. It's too late. So, I thought, well, what can I do? And I literally did a Venn diagram, and put my skills and what I liked and what I was loved, and saw where it overlapped. And really, it's here. It's here. I mean, it's not easy to start up, and I hope to one day get back to the level of salary of what I was earning in Google, but I don't care, because I'm doing the right thing. This is the right thing for me to be doing, and I think that's important when we work for ourselves, when we propel ourselves. We have to have a certain amount of passion in what we do, and I feel overqualified to be helping people with this area.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is so true. That is so true. Because in life, we all get to a point, I believe, that where the things we do, the mundane things we do, where we just feel like we're not contributing, we're not serving, we're not helping others, it just becomes such a drag if you continue down that path, right? We all got to find a place where it's like, how do you combine what you know with helping not just your city, town, but the world, especially with the internet in today's day and age, right?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I've read a lot of books to get me through this, because when you stop being one thing and start to be another, there's a big abyss which you fall into and you eventually climb out. But yeah, I mean, it's good to notice what makes you lose time. What things do you do when you forget the clock, forget to eat, forget to drink water? That's where your passion lies, and often your purpose is close to that. And if you can do a Venn diagram of knowing what you love, what your passion is, and what skills you have, and seeing what meets in the middle, it's a good indicator to what area you should be looking to build a business in.
Awesome, love this. So a couple of questions I want to ask you, right? So let's say with habits, what's one habit you've developed that you believe has gotten you to your level of success?
Oh, wow, that's an incredible question. I'm still developing.
Uh-huh.
um, I, I think delighting in the small achievements and small milestones are important for me, because starting a business, coaching business from scratch, and I'm launching an online course. If I looked at that online course as, 60 hours of video modules, PDFs, blah, 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 plus live webinar, if I looked at it as one thing, it'd be so overwhelming to me. I'm a single mother, I've got a little boy at home. He's been at home for 5 months with this lockdown, before he goes back to school. So, I have to delight in the small successes. If I can get a few things ticked off the list every day and little steps closer, that keeps my momentum going. It keeps me looking forward and stops me being overwhelmed, because being overwhelmed is debilitating for me.
Love it, love it. What about skills wise? What's one skill you'd say you've mastered that's gotten you to where you are today?
Um, I would say, to keep it really simple, the smile.
hmm
It's it opens doors to people. It's an instant way to get rapport. And a lot of people forget, especially on online stuff. I'm noticing a lot. People are so concerned with the technology. There's a lot of serious faces and peering in, and we're forgetting that first moment of contact with someone is when our ancient processes in our brain judge you and take a perception of you and start to build a relationship with you. And when you meet someone in person, face to face, that's a lot more tangible. It's more, you can feel them. Online, when you meet someone face to face, it's easy to let that slip. and it can color the kinds of relationships you build, especially with online coaching. You do have to pay extra care about looking into the lens, trying to get that eye contact and keeping that connection going, because we have this digital barrier. So I think the smile gets you a lot of stuff in life. I tell my son to use it. Tony Blair, his dad, told him, just smile, Tony, and you'll get whatever you want. And it came true.
Love it. And final question: what about books wise? Have there been any books that's really changed your life direction?
Oh gosh, I love and adore books. All books, non-fiction books, fiction books. It's such a privilege and a treat to revel in a book for a few hours, like last night when I went to bed early and just read a book. There's been one at every stage of my life, whether it's Lord of the Rings, which I read when I was 12 for school, whether it's Shakespeare, the richness of the treasures of those characters in those plays, and having the privilege to dive into that in my previous career, or whether it's simply Carmine Gallo, fantastic book on public speaking. All his work is awesome. Whether it's Eckhart Tolle, if you feel a bit spiritual, or whether it's just a bit of Bill Bryson to make you laugh. Books are treasures. And there's one thing that all billionaires have in common. They all read about 6 books a week. All of them, Bill Gates, Elon Musk, they're all avid readers. So it stimulates us in a way that we can't get televisionally. And it's so powerful, because when you listen to a story or when you read a story, that plays a movie in your head where your brain can't really tell the difference whether that's real or that's fake, and it releases the same endorphins. So if you hear a story about winning the lottery or listen to someone, your brain is releasing the same endorphins. And when you tell a story to someone, your neurons are mirroring theirs. And that's the power of our connection through story, whether it's on the page, whether it's delivered on the screen, whether it's in a film, movie, book, or whatever. It's powerful. It's how we're affected. It's how we emotionally connect to other humans. It's how we learn. We are hardwired and designed to accept stories in a way that we won't accept being told anything else, and our brain treats a story as an experience. So I just think every book is a treasure. I just have guilt for reading. I never read anything twice. As much as I love it, I just always think there's always another book in the world.
Pretty cool stuff. I was actually thinking while you were talking about with books, because when you do read a book, you definitely have the visuals. Because I remember most of the books I've read, the way I remember them is through a visual type of image popping up. I'm like, that'd be cool too, because with entrepreneurship, right, it's one of those places where most of what we want to do, it's things we haven't done before. We have a dream. There's something we're trying to create, and it's just not here yet, but we're trying to build that in a sense, right? I was just imagining while you were talking, like, just imagine picking up a book, and that book has your story. Like, it hasn't happened yet in the real world, but you're reading that book from the character is you, but the story is like unfolding in a way that just exactly the way you wanted it to, right? Like, imagine how cool that would be. To where you wake up and you're like, man, I'm reading this book, but this is my exact story of how I'm gonna build my success, and it's like a 10-chapter book or something, but somewhere the full story is there.
Incredibly comforting.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Somebody should take this idea and do something with it. Build a coaching program around. That'd be pretty cool to build a coaching program around helping people write a book that has this story before it's ever happened, so they could have it and then just.
And then internalizing that. Your brain honestly can't tell the difference. It's like a fake smile. This is almost a treatment for depression. A fake smile releases the same dopamine in your brain as a real smile. Brain doesn't know. So stories are powerful stuff. That's why we're all addicted to them. That's why Netflix is so rich.
Love it. So tell us, we're running short on time here, but what's the best way to connect if someone wanted to reach out?
Oh, yeah. If you can see behind me, speakerstudio.com. I am based in the UK, but I do online coaching, all different time zones. There's a calendar on my site. You can just book in for a free discovery session. I also do a free monthly practice group, because practice is the best of all instructors. And there's no point reading and learning about it unless you're going to actually build those muscles and do it. And I'm at the moment, it's just coaching on my site, but I'm launching an online course in July. So thank you for giving me a little bit of time to talk about my passions and reach everyone. Hello, everyone. I'll be seeing you in the group. And, you know, hopefully I can reach more people with an online course.
Love it, love it. Thank you so much. Well, thank you again for being here. Do you have any final thoughts before we end?
No, just everybody get a book. Get your voice out, heard. Everybody deserves to be heard. Everybody has a voice that should be listened to.
Awesome,
So
love it.
thank you for listening to mine.
Awesome, love it. Well, hey, thanks again for stopping by, and we'll be in touch, okay?
All right, cheers.
Awesome. Have a good one.